Summer, 1281, Kanbalik, the capital of the Mongol Empire. The air inside the great audience hall is thick with the scent of incense and ambition. Silken banners ripple above marble floors as Kublai Khan, grandson of Genghis, gazes over maps that stretch from Persia to the edge of the Pacific. Only one patch of land remains unbowed, the islands of Japan. The great Khan's voice is low but iron-edged. Twice they have refused tribute, he says, his words echoing through the Golden Hall. They will learn that the sea cannot save them. Courtiers bow deeply. Messengers rush to Korea and China, bearing commands that will shake the coasts of the East. In the harbors of southern China, the preparations begin. Carpenters hammer through the night, shaping timbers for what will become the largest invasion fleet the medieval world has ever seen, nearly 4,000 ships in all. From the mountains of Sichuan, ironworkers forge blades and armor. From Goryeo, Korea, conscripts and sailors are gathered by force. Drums beat across the camps like thunder, uniting languages, faces, and loyalties under one banner, Yuan. On the docks of Ningbo and Masan, Chinese engineers oversee construction of colossal warships, each one built to carry hundreds of soldiers. The decks groan beneath the weight of catapults, iron bombs, and Mongol cavalry horses. Commanders boast that this will be the final act, the conquest of the Sunrise Islands, a gift to the Khan's glory and heaven's will. Yet whispers run through the ranks. Old sailors mutter of the Kami Japan spirits of wind and sea. They remember the first invasion, 7 years earlier in 1274, when sudden storms scattered the Mongol fleet. To challenge those gods again feels like tempting fate itself. Still, the Khan's order cannot be refused. The summer moon rises over a sea of sails, tens of thousands of men staring eastward. Drums echo across the water. Priests chant blessings in Chinese, Mongolian, and Korean tongues. The wind carries their voices toward the unseen islands, toward Japan, toward destiny. The fleet begins to move. Oars splash, lanterns sway. The horizon swallows them whole as the greatest armada of the age sails into the mists of the East China Sea. Summer, 1281, Kyushu, Japan. Mist drifts over the quiet shores of Hakata Bay. The sea is calm, deceptively calm, a glass mirror hiding the storm of steel that will soon break upon it. Along the newly built coastal walls, samurais stand watch, their armor lacquered black, glinting under the pale dawn. At the top of the rampart, Hojo Tokimune, the young regent of the Kamakura shogunate, surveys the horizon. His expression is still, but his eyes are sharp as drawn steel. He remembers the year 1274 when the Mongols first came, the thunder of their bombs, the strange smell of their weapons, the cries of his warriors overwhelmed by foreign fire. That humiliation, he vowed, would never happen again. Steel cannot stand without spirit, he once told his council. If they come again, we will greet them not with fear, but with the courage of our ancestors. Below, the samurai train endlessly. They ride through surf and sand, shouting their family names into the wind. They polish swords, sharpen arrows, and whisper sutras beneath their breath. Monks walk among them, blessing helmets with sacred words, painting charms upon banners that flutter in the salty air. The new walls stretch for miles, stone and timber ramparts built to block enemy landings. Behind them, archers line up, their bows ready to turn the beaches into fields of death. Small wooden watchtowers dot the coast, each one lit by a single lantern. Night falls, the sea grows restless. In a nearby temple, Tokimun kneels before a golden Buddha, the candlelight flickering across his face. A monk beside him whispers, "Regent, are you afraid?" Tokimun answers softly, "I am, but fear reminds us that we are still alive. Let it sharpen us." Then a cry echoes from the watchtowers. From the darkness of the eastern horizon, lights appear, hundreds of them. Not stars, but lanterns bobbing on the sea. The Mongol fleet has arrived. Drums begin to sound in the distance. Their rhythm is alien deep, thunderous, relentless. On the beaches, the samurai tighten their helmets, draw their blades, and wait in silence. The wind carries the smell of salt and smoke. The invaders are close enough now to hear the clash of oars, the creak of massive ships. The defenders stand shoulder to shoulder, their banners snapping in the night wind, crimson, gold, black. Some whisper prayers, others smile grimly. In that moment, every man knows Japan stands at the edge of its destiny. Night of July, 1281, Hakata Bay. The sea burns. Flaming arrows streak across the dark horizon as Mongol war drums thunder like an oncoming storm. Their ships, towering wooden beasts from China and Korea, grind toward the shore, row after row, a forest of sails under the ghostly moonlight. From the ramparts, the samurai shout their war cries. Tenno Heika Banzai, long live the emperor. Their arrows rain down in answer. The first wave of invaders surges forward. Iron-clad soldiers leap from the ships into waist-deep surf, their shields raised, their curved sabers flashing with reflected firelight. The air fills with the shriek of whistling bolts, thunk. Mongol crossbows strike men down before they can swing their swords. Then comes the sound that freezes hearts, the hiss and crack of iron bombs, a Mongol invention unknown in Japan. Explosions tear through the sand and air, scattering men and horses alike. The samurai stagger but hold firm, their commanders shouting above the chaos. At the water's edge, Hekata's walls blaze with firelight. The Mongols try to scale them, ladders rising like jagged teeth against the skyline, but arrows drive them back. The defenders' discipline holds, yet the Mongol fleet is vast. Even as men fall on the beach, more ships arrive, blackening the sea. The samurai know the walls cannot hold forever. That night, a daring plan is born. Under cover of darkness, dozens of small Japanese boats push off from the harbor, swift, silent, built for speed. Each carries only a handful of warriors. They row through the moonlit waters, passing the hulking shadows of Mongol ships. When they are close enough, they leap aboard with grappling hooks and ropes, cutting down guards before the alarm spreads. Steel clashes on wet decks, blood splashes against wooden rails. Samurai blades gleam as they hack through Mongol armor, faces smeared with sea spray and sweat. They fight not for conquest, but for their homeland. One ship erupts in flames, a Japanese warrior sets its oil stores alight before diving into the sea. The fire spreads, consuming sails, ropes, and men. By dawn, dozens of Mongol vessels lie crippled or drifting. Smoke rolls over the bay. The surviving fleets pull back, anchoring further offshore beyond bowshot. The beach is a graveyard of wreckage and bodies. From the walls, the samurai watch in silence. They have survived the first storm, but the horizon still crawls with ships. The enemy waits, confident that time and numbers will wear Japan down. Yet above them, the wind begins to shift. A strange stillness settles over the water. The gulls are gone. The air grows heavy, electric, as if the sea itself is holding its breath. August 1281, off the coast of Kyushu. For days, the Mongol fleet lingers offshore, thousands of ships anchored in uneasy calm. The sky hangs low and gray, the air thick with humidity. Not a breeze stirs the banners of Yuan. The sea, once restless, lies still as polished glass. Then, without warning, the silence breaks. A deep rumble rolls from the south, distant thunder that grows louder by the hour. The wind shifts, sudden and sharp. Waves begin to rise, slapping against the hulls of the anchored ships. Sailors shout to one another in panic. Ropes strain, masts creak. By nightfall, the horizon vanishes behind a wall of black clouds. Lightning flashes across the heavens like the swords of angry gods. The storm has come. Typhoon. In the ancient tongue of Japan, Kamikaze, the divine wind. Rain lashes the decks with merciless fury. The sea heaves as if possessed. Massive Korean-built warships smash into each other, breaking apart like toys in the raging surf. Men scream as they are hurled into the boiling waters, swallowed by waves taller than temples. Onshore, samurai and monks stand upon the cliffs, their armor drenched, their banners whipping in the gale. They can barely see the sea, only flickers of lightning revealing chaos. Ships torn apart, sails shredded, masts snapping one by one. "Look!" a warrior cries, pointing into the storm. A giant Yuan flagship rolls onto its side, its hull splitting with a crack that echoes through the night. Moments later, it vanishes beneath the waves. To the Mongols, the storm is terror. To the Japanese, it is heaven's wrath. Hojo Tokimune stands at a shrine above the bay, his hair whipping in the wind. He closes his eyes, whispering a prayer. The gods defend the land of the rising sun. The typhoon rages for 2 nights and 2 days. When it finally breaks, dawn returns to reveal a sea of ruin. Thousands of broken ships litter the coast. Bodies float among shattered beams and tangled rigging. The once invincible Mongol armada annihilated. Of the more than 4,000 ships that sailed from China and Korea, only a few hundred survive. The rest are scattered, splintered, or sunk beneath the waves of Hakata Bay. From the cliffs, the samurai stare in awe. The sea is calm again, as if nothing had ever happened. But the air still hums with something sacred. A story is being born, not of men, but of the wind itself. Autumn, 1281, Hakata Bay, Kyushu. The dawn breaks over a sea of ruin. The golden light of morning glimmers upon a graveyard of ships, their splintered masts jutting from the water like broken spears. The waves carry fragments of armor, driftwood, and the lifeless bodies of the invaders who had once sworn to claim Japan for the Great Khan. Now, they drift silently, their eyes open to the sky that betrayed them. Smoke curls from the shoreline, where Japanese soldiers move among the wreckage. Some drag survivors from the waves, Mongol warriors gasping for breath, their faces pale from salt and terror. But mercy is rare. The shogunate has given the order, no invader may live to return. The sound of steel striking flesh mixes with the low hiss of the sea. On the cliffs above the bay, Hojo Tokimune stands in his armor, his face streaked with rain and salt. He watches in silence as his commanders approach. Shiken, one of them bows deeply, the last of their ships are gone. The storm took them all. Tokimune closes his eyes. In his heart, he feels the trembling of something far greater than victory awe. He kneels, pressing his forehead to the wet earth, whispering to the heavens, "Tenno no Kami, the gods of our emperor, you have protected us." Behind him, monks chant sutras, their voices carried on the wind that still smells of the sea. The villagers, soldiers, and samurai alike kneel and bow to the rising sun. They name the storm Kamikaze, the divine wind. It is not mere weather, they believe, but a message proof that the gods themselves guard these islands. In the months that follow, stories spread across Japan. Children grow up hearing that the heavens themselves struck down Kublai Khan. Priests carve the tale into temple walls, and poets speak of thunder that roared like dragons and waves that carried the wrath of the kami. The Mongol Empire, the mightiest the world had ever seen, had been stopped not by sword or fortress, but by the wind. Japan remains unconquered, and from that day the word kamikaze would live on not just as a storm, but as a symbol, a vow, that when the gods choose to protect their land, even the greatest empire beneath heaven cannot stand against them.